So you're new to astrology and you pull your natal chart up. Now what? There's so many lines and symbols. How do you even know where to start? Today I'm going to teach you how to take your crazy complex natal chart and boil it down using some of the most vital placements in there. This is your big three in astrology. So let's go. Before we get started, you should know that we have a Big 3 cheat sheet available for free to download in our Big 3 article on our website. And the link to that will be in the description. So the number one placement in your Big 3, this is your big boss and the main player, your sun. This planet is the core of who you are and one of the most important placements in your entire chart. Your sun may be who you identify as. It's like the glue that holds you together. So while the other planets and parts of you just seem to revolve around it. And as you can imagine, it is very important to keep your sun happy. Do what your sun wants and you'll feel more fulfilled and as though you're following the purpose in your life. Ignore it and you may pay the price by feeling dull and as though you're just floating with no direction. But how do you know what your sun wants? You have to look to its sign and house. The house your sun sits in will tell you what parts of life and what experiences are vital for your personal growth and sense of fulfillment. And your sun sign will offer clues as to what style may come naturally to you in those areas, what may motivate you the most, what tools you may have at your disposal, and also what pitfalls you might encounter if you're not careful. So your sun reigns supreme in your chart, but it's not the only show in town. Enter the second part of your big three, your moon. While your sun takes its place as your center and your purpose, there is an entire other part of us, our emotions. This is where your moon comes in. Your moon is powerful when it comes to driving your behavior, but its influence is hidden mostly inside of you. This is your unconscious mind and your imagination, and it kind of hides in there. And while the sun is assertive and shouts its demands loud and clear, your moon is more like a whisper. Your moon's influence may always swirl inside of you, but only come out and show itself when something triggers you to feel something. And how does it show itself? Emotions. The moon takes the wheel and drives your behavior using feelings based on unconscious drives. Honor your moon's wishes and be rewarded with joy and happiness. Neglect it, and you're neglecting your soul, leaving you off balance emotionally, one-dimensional, and just plain sad. So how do you know what your moon wants? Again, look to its sign and know what kind of emotional landscape you may have going on inside of you. This can help you figure out what you need to be happy and ways it might be effective for you to let off steam and deal with your feelings. And your moon's house might show you areas of life that can feed your soul the most. At this point, we've looked at our sun as the core of who we are, our moon as our center of emotions, but that's only 2 out of our big 3. So what could be left? For the third piece of our big 3 puzzle, I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you find that throughout your life, most people have treated you or reacted to you in a certain way? Maybe people are always rude to you, trying to compete with you or assert themselves ahead of you, take you for granted, or act like you can't think for yourself or take care of yourself. Maybe they react to you in a friendly way and usually see you as no threat at all. And there are a million other examples I can list, but you get the picture. When you answer the question, people always seem to treat me blank, you are in part describing the third part of your big 3, your ascendant. In astrology, your ascendant is often described as the mask you wear. This is the person you show others or your outward persona. But I think there's a better way to describe this. Think of your ascendant as the interface between the inside of you and the outside of you. And I'm not talking about your skin. Yes, people look through it to see in, but you're also looking out at the world through it as well. So it influences how others see you, but it also influences how you see everything else. For instance, think of someone who always sees the world as a place where someone is trying to outdo them or one-up them. How do you think that person would behave? And then when they behave that way, you can imagine how other people would treat them in response. And around it goes. But where do you find this super important ascendant in your chart? This isn't a planet to locate. It's an angle or a line. Your ascendant is the cusp or boundary line of the first house in your natal chart. Understand your ascendant and you'll understand better how to take control of how you experience life. So how do you work with your ascendant? First, look to the sign of the zodiac that your ascendant lands in. You may know this sign as your rising sign. The sign of your ascendant or your rising sign may offer clues as to what kind of impression you're putting out there, and also what kind of filter you're looking through that might influence what you expect and how you see things. Any planets that may be sitting close to your ascendant or in your first house will also add their influence to this mix. And your outward persona may embody traits of that planet. We have 2 resources that will help you learn more from your big 3. One is an article on our site, and the other is our Big Three Reflection Journal, where you can deep dive into each piece of your Big Three and also think of them as a whole as well. Links to both of those will be in the description. And when it comes to your Send It, there is one other major factor that weighs in on your outward persona as well. And to find out what that is, watch this next video. So have a great day and take care.